Welcome back, chums. My name is LastKnownMeal, and today we're gonna be talking about Cyberpunk 2077 Update 2.1. So CD Projekt Red has finally released a full patch notes for the update. Keep in mind that at the end we do know, as always, that these are the biggest patch notes. Obviously the smaller changes are not present in this, and well, we're going to analyze and find out what those changes are tomorrow when it releases. And as always, do keep in mind that in some of these sections, especially in the quests and open world patch notes, there might be spoilers, so viewer discretion is advised. So first things first, we're gonna be going through all of the biggest new features presented in this update, and this is what it says. Fee's issue with their Endcard City Pass is resolved, and they can now travel between 19 metro stations located throughout Night City on 5 different lines via fast travel or riding the train itself while gazing out the window and watching the world go by. Also, we have seen that as we are riding in the train, there are going to be some instances where we are going to be approached by a person asking for money and so on. Another feature is that V will now be able to invite their love interest to spend some time together in any of the apartments. Hangouts are a repeatable, unlimited event that has become available once the romantic path with a given character has concluded. And we also do have a GIF of actually V being with Panam in his apartment, so this is actually a cool new addition. Also, now you can listen to the radio while on foot or while riding the Endcard train, using the new radio port feature, available while you explore. It switches seamlessly to car radio whenever you get in a vehicle and turns off when quest-specific music starts playing. It is now also possible to adjust the volume directly in the radio window. This is actually very cool because especially this transitioning between entering the car and exiting, well, we don't have to worry about turning it off and on again, so that's very cool. As we have also seen in the previous Red streams, they added replayable car races we can take part in after finishing the Beast in Me. Look for racing flag icons on the map and win the races to get eddies and a discount for AutoFixer website. So besides courier missions or well car boosting missions, this is also how we get those discounts. Additionally, we improved racers' AI to make them much more competitive and made enhancements so that the whole experience is much more fun. As you do know from the release of the game, I've been complaining that racing is really not that enjoyable, especially because of the racing AI just respawning, making mistakes, and it doesn't matter what you do, if you make a mistake they will overtake you just because they respawned next to you, and it wasn't really enjoyable. And they also added sightseeing binoculars in various scenic spots as another way to appreciate Night City's vistas. This is also cool because I do believe there is one on the dam that we're going to visit as soon as this update is out. When it comes to accessibility, we already talked about this in a previous video, but they have added a lot of new accessibility features into the game, like larger fonts, removing some of the effects which might, cause problems with people who have motion sickness and so on. And as they can say here, you can now also disable the timer in the Breach Protocol minigame. So basically the hacking minigame, you can disable that and focus on hacking that without, wondering about 20 or 30 seconds left. They've also added more customization options for the hood, so larger hood elements, removed hood lens distortion, the curved effect on the hood, removed hood visual effects, the ghosting effect on the hood, and reduced hood decorative elements to improve clarity. They added a new accessibility tab, moved the difficulty and subtitle settings and some of the controls and interface options. They also added a weapon cycling to ARM cyberware setting, which allows to enable or disable cycling ARM cyberware when cycling through equipped weapons. This was actually something that was a big discussion before if people want it or not, so now you will have a setting so you can turn it on and off by your, well, wishes. UI panels up, down, left, right keys are now rebindable to adapt to AZERTY and Kuvert's keyboards. Now let's talk about quests and open world. Usually this has spoilers, so watch out. We can now be pursued by gangs after taking an aggressive approach towards them during certain gigs and main quests. Gigs that involve stealing and delivering a vehicle can now turn into a car chase and a combat sequence. This is good because usually these missions just kinda end up abruptly as soon as you exit, so having something like this, especially if you're going through the gig, all guns blazing, there should be some repercussions, so I'm glad this was finally added. Decorative vendors spawn inside some of the kiosks are now functional. Please note that food stands are not impacted by this change. This is good. It is now possible to sit at various bars in Night City and interact with vendors. This is very nice. This is something which has been requested pretty much since the game released. They fixed an issue where some gigs wouldn't trigger after approaching the quest area. Chipping in fixed an issue where Rogue would follow V around permanently. This is good. Cyberpsycho's sighting house on a hill. They fixed an issue where Peter Green's body was still highlighted after scanning. I had this issue on my first playthrough. Every Grain of Sand fixed an issue where the reward vehicle for completing all Badlands gigs did not spawn. Gas, gas, gas. They fixed an issue where reward vehicle for completing all city center gigs did not spawn. Gig Olive Branch fixed an issue where it was not possible to talk to Sergei Krasinski because he did not spawn. I know this was something that people have been reporting for the past, I think, 2 years. Killing in the Name fixed an issue where it was not possible to progress past the Go to the Signal Source objective because the conversation with Johnny did not trigger. Life During Wartime fixed an issue where Panam would not get on the motorcycle when required to follow her to the gas station. Space Oddity fixed an issue where the quest did not activate even after updating the game to patch 2.01. And the Prophet Song fixed an issue where the quests could reappear as undiscovered on the map. I'm glad that they're actually just, fixing a lot of things within Night City, being that this is the last update, I think, the big feature update for this game, but we also said that for update 2.0, so nothing in the future wouldn't surprise me, But in general, I'm glad that these things are being, just kinda fixed because new people are gonna be buying the Ultimate Edition, and it's important that these quests, which are in the main game, work as, they should be. Now we arrived at the Phantom Liberty specific changes and fixes. They fixed an issue where enemies in some suspected organized crime activities in Dogtown did not spawn, blocking progress. They fixed an issue where in-game time would not pass after watching the Bring Dance from Lizzie's Wizzy's concert. It is required to use skip time option for the fix to take effect, so just keep that in mind. Fixed an issue where Arachnophobia and all the President's Men achievements were not granted despite meeting the requirements. All of the achievement hunters, well, this is it. The Relic Ruler achievement will no longer unlock after acquiring only one relic perk. Please note that this fix will not reset an already unlocked achievement. Previously exclusive iconic weapons are now obtainable in the game. This is an interesting choice. We're gonna see how exactly we're gonna be able to find them and how difficult it is considering the drop chance and all. Alibi, Borzaya, Laika, Taigun and Volkodav iconic weapons will now be available for purchase from the black market vendor if they were not retrieved from an airdrop. This is good because usually these things, you get from airdrops themselves, but if you don't want to do that, or maybe there was a bug, well, in black market got you sorted out. Addicted to Chaos saw 2 changes and fixes. First one is they fixed an issue where the quest would complete automatically without actually finishing it, and they fixed an issue where the garage door would not open after entering the code. Nice. Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos fixed an issue where Mr. Hands would not answer when called from Her to Eternity. They fixed an issue where it was not possible to place the metal pin on the table in V's apartment. Get It Together fixed an issue where it was not possible to enter the Heavy Hearts Club. Hi-Ho Silver Lining fixed an issue where it was not possible to talk to Mr. Hands in the Heavy Hearts Club because he wasn't interactable or did not spawn. Lucretia My Reflection saw 2 changes, or well, fixes. Fixed an issue where the player could be stuck in a permanent holocall with Songbird after leaving the abandoned apartment, and they fixed an issue where Reed would not call after waiting 2 days. Somewhat Damaged saw 2 fixes. Fixed an issue that could cause the player to get stuck in a crouching position, making it impossible to connect to the port in the core, and they fixed an issue where sprinting or jumping was permanently disabled after riding the elevator. Things Done Changed fixed an issue where the screen would go black after calling the nurse for players who still experience this issue on patch 2.02. Now when it comes to gameplay changes and improvements, something we have seen already, at least when it comes to Smasher, is that they improved the boss fights with Yasha Ivanov, Boris Rybakov and Adam Smasher. So when it comes to Oda, that boss fight has, it seems to me, not changed. Smasher will now be able to also activate Sandevistan, and as you can see from the actual gameplay is that they actually added Edge Runner's effect of the Sandevistan into the game. Now I do wonder if this is only going to be for Smasher or maybe every single person using using Sandy in the game will now have this effect. They also added 2 new cyberware, Phoenix. This is the skeleton cyberware. Cyberware capacity cost is 16. It gives armor from 8, 14, 20, 26 to 31 depending on the quality, and also 250% RAM regen rate when available RAM is below 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. And the second one is Cogito Latice. This is the integumentary system cyberware. Cyberware capacity cost is 12, armor 18, 27, 36, 45 and 54, and also it's gonna be giving you 200% to 240% armor from this cyberware when available RAM is below 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So this is actually a very useful just cyberware for armor in general, especially if you're using a lot of RAM, if you're a netrunner and you're getting shot and it goes down below this a certain number, obviously depending on the quality, well, this is going to be a very nice boost. They also rebalance stats for multiple cyberware, and this we're going to cover tomorrow because I will be able to have gameplay, and it doesn't really make sense for me to do cyberware and especially perks without, you know, going through the game and actually showing you the gameplay footage. So this we're going to leave for tomorrow, as well as the tweak for some of the weapons, like for example like electric baton, Kassar and everything. This is gonna be happening tomorrow when I can actually test the weapon properly. But one thing that we can see is that they decrease cyberware capacity cost for a lot of cyberware, like for example memory boost, defensicov, handle wrap, micro generator and so on. So this is actually quite cool because now, well, a lot of people were saying that they kind of exceeded the cyberware capacity quite fast, and maybe this is going to help. When it comes to weapons, CDPR has done a lot in the crafting and weapons themselves. So first off is that crafted weapons can now have up to 2 mod slots. This is very good because this wasn't actually present previously, and it made kind of a lot of people mad after update 2.0. But of course they said that this won't affect all of the weapons you have crafted, so you will have to, well, recraft the weapons again. They also increased the rate at which mods drop from enemies. I know this was kind of a big deal for people, saying that the actual drop chance is very low, and they added a chance for weapon mods to appear in containers that previously offered only crafting components. They increased the availability of mods in weapons when their stock. A PAX mod will always be available. Nice. It will now be possible to properly install tech weapon mods instead of power weapon mods on the HA4 grid. Tier 4 and Tier 5 weapon mods can now be found in weapon vendor stock if the player's tier is high enough. This is good because a lot of people don't want to grind through it, so being able to buy this, especially if you're like level 50, is kinda cool. They also increased the max ammo limit you can carry in your inventory for all ammo types. This is useful, but to be honest, after update 2.0, after they increased the drop chance of ammo throughout like all of the enemies you down, I wasn't really having that many issues with, you know, losing ammo than I did. I had more, you know, problems with it prior to the update 2.0, so, but you know, just increasing the limit in general is kinda cool. Crafted iconic weapons will now be properly displayed when put in the stash. Hopefully this is going to be the case, because it seems to me like every single patch addresses this. Now also cyberware capacity shards should now drop properly for players who have reached the max level. They fixed an issue where some tier 5 plus weapons and cyberware were upgraded to tier 5 plus again, or to a lower tier. This is interesting. It will now be possible to activate overclock while controlling cameras. Also Krasnikov will now work with throwable weapons. This is nice. They fixed an issue where V for Vendetta achievement would unlock despite not meeting the requirements. Please note that this fix will not reset an already unlocked achievement. They fixed an issue where player didn't receive the quick and the dead achievement despite meeting the requirements. Reduced the minimum stick tilt angle required to stay in sprint when playing on a controller. Nice, this is very useful. Secondary stats in the cyberware changed via the cyberware connoisseur perk will no longer have their values randomized after saving or loading. Thank you very much. This was a major problem for me. After reaching level 60 in the Netrunner skill, the overclock ability will now properly reveal the enemies within 10 meters and allow you to hack them through the cover. Useful actually, especially if you're going for a netrunning build, and yeah, this is Kinda cool. They also adjusted the Synapse Burnout Quick Hack, decreased the max damage bonus from 400% to 300% for tiers 3 and 5, so a slight nerf. Decreased the max damage bonus from 600% to 400% and lowered the bonus per RAM unit from 12 to 10% for the iconic variant. There are also a lot of player movement and player responsiveness changes. Now this we're gonna be actually talking about tomorrow when I can actually show that, you know, movement and everything. But one thing that we can't go through it straight away is that we can now start sprinting immediately after shooting than rather after a delay. This was kinda annoying ever since the release, so I'm glad this is kinda fixed. But they also fixed a lot of like things where, you know, it canceled jumping, falling and other actions which might, you know, impede it with how you run through the city or how you play. So this is nice, but you know, the more things we're gonna be seeing tomorrow once I can actually see how the player is gonna be walking. Now also after crafting an item with the active Chimera core or the Cerberus decoded behavioral system component, the crafting specs required will disappear from the crafting panel. Players who completed all of the Regina's gigs prior to the update 2.0 will have the Neofiber cyberware they received as a reward replaced with Axolotl, which is nice. This is always a problem for me to pronounce. Stats from ARM cyberware will now be applied correctly regardless if they are drawn or not. And they fixed an issue where V's HP wouldn't drop below 25% due to Biodyne Berserker's effect remaining active permanently. I know some people were using this as a bug to actually be invincible. Please note that this fix is not retroactive and it won't affect cases where this issue already occurred prior to 2.1. Damn. When it comes to vehicles and traffic, first off, they opened the previously closed off highway that spans Westbrook, Santo Domingo and Haywood. Finally, this was kind of, you know, a thing which was just there. It wasn't really detailed to the point, and I know people were using it to escape cops because I know they were not following there, and I believe also Sasko said that during the stream, so this was very interesting, but tomorrow we're gonna be seeing it with our own eyes. It is now possible also to lean while riding bikes. You can use left shift, left control on a keyboard or left stick on gamepad to make the rider lean. Up to lean forward, you know, down to lean back, pretty much a standard. Leaning only changes your center of mass. Lean back and apply the gas to do a wheelie, lean forward and apply the brake to do an endo. Changing your center of mass changes how much traction you have at either end. Lean forward a little mid-corner to induce oversteer, you know, lean a little back to induce understeer. Wow, there is a lot of here, especially when it comes to the bikes. I cannot wait to test this out. And in the air you can lean forward or backward to do flips, steer to do spins. Wow, even that. They also added 5 new bikes to purchase from the AutoFixer website. I know this was a complaint from a lot of people, including me, because, well, update 2.0 did not have it. And especially like Phantom Liberty had some bikes, but not to the point of like, you know, this. And they also added a new car, the Porsche 911 Cabriolet. This is the AutoFixer website vehicle, so just go there and it's probably gonna be having some quest or something to it, because I doubt this is going to be a straight up purchase. If it is, then cool. They also added an option to mark vehicles as favorite in the call vehicle menu. This is very nice, especially if you're using a lot of same vehicles. Well, now you can properly sort them out and they're going to be on top. And they added an option to throw knives and axes while riding bikes. This is something we found out from the red streams. There is actually a little GIF they added, so that's kind of cool how it looks, but we're gonna be testing that. And they improved the melee animations when driving bikes in third-person perspective. And now attacking an NPC driver will cause the vehicle to swerve. This is also good because it actually makes the world more believable and makes AI do more believable things in a sense. When it comes to sound, they overhauled sound effects in scenes in the base game's main, side and minor quests, so a lot of little reworks. Authoring an up-mixing of scenes to the surround sound format, very nice. They added missing sound effects, fixed missing post-processing for voices, improved the gun and combat sound effects, improvements to vehicle audio, various sound fixes, and Panam will no longer sound if she is in a holocall when talking to her about the events from Phantom Liberty in person. This was actually a bug for me as well, so glad it was fixed. When it comes to visual, various lighting improvements around the city. Improved the visuals of Kiroshi scanner highlights. They changed the appearance of the black wall in transmission to match its appearance in Phantom Liberty. This is good. They fixed an issue where there could be a cigarette permanently attached to V's hand. Okay. The flame will now be properly aligned with the exhaust pipes on the Yaiba Kusanagi CT3X. Electroshock VFX released by Microgenerator will now have VFX when playing without Phantom Liberty. Cool. They fixed some instances where the animation after installing cyberware at Reaper docks would not trigger. And now we're approaching the final things like UI, PC specifics and so on. So first off, when it comes to UI, they added an option to mark weapons as favorites so that selling, disassembling or dropping the item is locked. Thank you. There has been many moments where I had a lot of weapons, especially same weapons, and I wasn't sure which weapon do I actually put out, which weapon do I sell. Like sometimes it took me a little time to organize everything, so but now, you know, favoriting stuff just makes things, you know, easier when you want to just dump all of the equipment you don't need or something you picked up during the gigs and just want to sell it. They also changed how resolution scaling modes are presented in the graphic settings. They added a toggle to switch between DLSS Super Resolution, AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.1 and Intel Xe Super Sampling 1.2. Depending on your selection, you can customize other options, for example, enable dynamic resolution scaling. They added a tooltip describing how to gain XP in each skill in the skill progression panel, and attempting to attack or shoot in areas where combat is disabled will now display an action blocked pop-up on the HUD. When it comes to PC specific changes, this is what they did. When it comes to ray tracing overdrive mode, exits preview status and includes several image quality improvements. They are also introducing Restir GI, further improves path traced lighting quality in RT overdrive mode, especially darker areas with no impact on performance, minimizes ghosting. DLSS ray reconstruction now available in RT Ultra and other ray tracing modes with ray tracing reflections enabled. So if you have a 40X series GPU, well, this is good. They fixed an issue where V's and NPC's skin could have metallic-like effect when ray tracing was enabled. And they fixed an issue where some characters' hair didn't cast shadows when ray tracing was enabled. Another thing which is amazing is that they added support for DualSense controllers. So if you have a PlayStation 5 controller, you don't have to use DSX or other solutions to kind of turn it on, but now you can just plug in the controller and that's it. If you experience issues with the game freezing on Steam when controller is connected after the game is already launched, please make sure to change PlayStation controller support in Steam settings to not enabled instead of enabled or enabled in games without support. They also added support for Samsung HDR10 Plus gaming for Nvidia GPUs. To enable this feature, your display has to support the technology and have the game mode enabled. The HDR10 Plus gaming toggle can be found in the settings of the video tab. When it comes to console specific changes and fixes, we only have Xbox here specifically, so they fixed an issue where a save failed. Insufficient space pop-up would appear when trying to save despite not reaching the save limit, and also when it comes to Xbox, they added a new error message that will appear when Phantom Liberty is installed on an unsupported drive. And for the end, we have miscellaneous fixes. They fixed a crash occurring when trying to reach the second sniper in Play It Safe. It will now be possible to properly interact with the radio in V's apartment in Mega Building H10. I know that a lot of people were asking for this, and they fixed an issue where there was still some dead zone after setting the inner dead zone on a controller to 0. And they added more secrets to be discovered by players in Night City. Damn, again? Well, we're gonna be searching for those secrets when the actual update drops. So these were the biggest changes for update 2.1. This definitely feels like a very nice send-off to the game, especially because right now, well, they're gonna be probably working on some patches to, you know, hotfix some of the problems which maybe appear here. And that's gonna be pretty much it. Do keep in mind that this patch, or well, update, is only available for current gen consoles, so PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and obviously PC. So this is everything for today. Tomorrow we're gonna be showing everything when the patch drops, and I will be, you know, talking about more of the weapons and cyberware changes where we can actually see it in action. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for more, and tell me down below which feature. Which new feature are you looking forward to the most? Also, huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out. Stay classy everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.